أشرقت نفسي بنور من فؤادي حينما رددت يا رب العباد وانتشت روحي وصار الدمع يجري يا إلهي خذ بقلبي للرشد
الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. Welcome to another lesson in which we are studying Kitab Al-Tawhid by Shaykh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah ta'ala. We will now begin studying the 17th chapter. The Shaykh rahmatullah alayhi says, Bab al-Shafa'ah, this intercession. This chapter deals with the issue of Shafa'ah, intercession. And the relevance of this chapter, the relevance of the topic of Shafa'ah to the previous chapters is, if you remember, the previous chapters we dealt with the issue of proving Tawhid al-Uluhiyyah through Tawhid al-Rububiyyah. Proving Tawhid al-Uluhiyyah through the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the only one who is characterized by absolute perfection. Now, when you establish this proof against the mushrikeen, when you tell them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one who controls the heavens and the earth, when you mention this to them, that He's the one who controls the heavens and the earth, so therefore it is completely nonsensical, it's of no use then to call upon anyone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have a response to this. They say, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He alone controls the heavens and earth, but we don't call upon those that we call upon besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because we believe that they have any power to control anything in the heavens and the earth. The only reason we turn to them is because they intercede on our behalf to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They have a status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do not approach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may not accept us, so we turn to them and they intercede on our behalf, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to please them, carries out their request. Rather like a king, for example. If there's a king ruling over a certain country or a certain kingdom, he has certain people who are close to him. They are interceders. A person, if a normal person comes to this king and asks something from him, then he'll probably reject him. It's quite likely that he'll reject him. However, if one of the interceders, one of the people close to the king, the people who the king likes, if one of these people go to the king and they intercede on that person's behalf, because of that person's status with that king, he carries out their request, even if it is something which he does not like, something which he does not wish to do, in order to please those interceders, those intercessors. So they have an influence over the king. So they make this false analogy. They liken Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to these kings, and they call upon their idols, they call upon the dead people in the graves with the belief that they intercede on their behalf to Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, the fact that they do it with this belief in mind, with this creed in mind, with this belief that their false idols intercede on their behalf to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this doesn't change the fact that it is shirk. It doesn't change the fact that it is major shirk, the type of shirk that takes one outside of the fold of Islam. It doesn't change the fact that it is a form of major kufr, because firstly, it comprises of likening Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to His creation. To His creation, His deficient, His weak creation. Now this king, for example, who they make an analogy of, he's in need of interceders. Why? because his knowledge is deficient. He doesn't truly understand the affairs of his subjects. So these interceders, they come to him and they say, and they explain the situation with his subjects. So his knowledge, because his knowledge is deficient. Also because this king doesn't have complete power over his kingdom. These interceders, they have an influence on him. So this belief necessitates that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like the creation, the kings from the creation, who are deficient in their knowledge, deficient in their power, and also perhaps deficient in their mercy, in their generosity. That king might be a stingy person, but in order to please that interceder, his friend, his minister, and so on and so forth, he carries that request out, not liking it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the most generous. His generosity is perfect. He is all merciful. So this comprises of ascribing imperfection, weakness, and shortcomings to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is one point which shows us the problem and the falsehood of this belief. Secondly, it renders Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rububiyyah deficient. If there are interceders who can influence Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, can influence him to do something which he does not, that he does not desire to do, which he does not wish to do, something which he does not will, then his control over the heavens and the earth, his control over the universe is not something which is complete. It is not something which is absolute, because someone else can influence him. So this renders Allah's rububiyyah deficient. Such a belief, no doubt, is a belief of kufr and shirk. Thirdly, seeking intercession in this manner it comprises of seeking from the creation that which they do not possess, that which the creation normally cannot do. No one from the creation can influence Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's will. No one can intercede in this manner to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is seeking something from the creation which the creation normally cannot do, which is shirk, which takes someone outside the fold of Islam. So here we've understood the type of intercession, the type of shafa'ah that the mushrikun believe in. Now, note that in the Quran and in the Sunnah there are two types of intercession. There are two types of shafa'ah. The first type of shafa'ah is the shafa'ah that I just mentioned, which is ash-shafa'ah al-manfiyah, the negated shafa'ah, the impermissible shafa'ah, the shafa'ah which is forbidden, prohibited, and the shafa'ah which is rejected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the negated shafa'ah, ash-shafa'ah al-manfiyah, the type of shafa'ah that the mushrikun believe in. The second type of shafa'ah is what is known as ash-shafa'ah al-muthbata, the affirmed shafa'ah, which is that shafa'ah affirmed in the Quran and Sunnah, the shafa'ah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts, the shafa'ah that is permitted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is that shafa'ah which fulfills two conditions. The first condition is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permits that interceder to make his intercession. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permits that interceder to intercede on behalf of someone. And this is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permits certain people, prophets and angels and righteous people, to intercede on the day of judgment, not whilst they are dead, not whilst they are in their graves. So this is the first condition. The second condition is that the intercession can only be made on behalf of that person who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows an intercession for. And these are the people of Tawhid. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the one who permits the shafa'ah to take place, and the shafa'ah can only be made on behalf of those people who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed shafa'ah to be made for. So the interceder He does not have absolute choice of when he can intercede. He can only intercede after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows him to, and he cannot unrestrictedly, absolutely make shafa'at for anyone. He can only make shafa'at for those people who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him to make shafa'at for, or allows them to make shafa'at for, and they are the people of Tawhid. So no one can intercede on behalf of anyone completely out of their own will, only with the conditions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set. And there's I'll describe this, explain this in more detail as we go further in the chapter. And there's the intent behind this type of shafa'ah, the intent behind the shafa'ah al-muthbata is two things. Firstly, it is to honor the interceder, to honor them, to honor the prophets, to honor as an honor to the righteous people. And secondly, in order to benefit the person, a reward for the person who receives the intercession, the person who's being interceded on behalf of. This is something which benefits them in the akhirah. So once we understand this, in no way does this shafa'ah mean that the interceders, that they have any ability to influence the affairs of the heavens and the earth. Once we understand that there are certain conditions and there are certain objectives behind the shafa'ah, when we understand these conditions and those objectives, we understand that the shafa'ah that is affirmed in the Quran and the Sunnah, it is completely different from the shafa'ah that the mushrikun believe in. Then the Shaykh rahmatullah alayh mentions a number of adillah from the Quran regarding the shafa'ah. The Shaykh rahmatullah alayh says, وقول الله عز وجل وأنذر به الذين يخافون أن يحشروا إلى ربهم ليس لهم من دونه ولي ولا شفيع لعلهم يتقون. Allah the Most High says, warn by it those who fear that they will be gathered to their Lord, having no protector or intercessor apart from Him. So in this ayah, Allah Azza wa Jal tells us that no one can intercede without His permission, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, having no protector or no intercessor apart from Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. So intercession can only take place with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission, and in no way can anyone from their own will, without permission, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission, make any shafa'ah. وَقَوْلُهُ قُلْ لِلَّهِ الشَّفَاعَةُ جَمِيعًا. Say, all forms of intercession belong to Allah. So in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that all forms of intercession belongs to Allah. This is the intercession, this is something which belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one who owns it, so He grants it to whoever He wills. So that intercession, because it belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it makes no sense to turn to anyone other than Him for that shafa'ah. Once we understand that the shafa'ah belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a person's heart should be inclined to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One should be attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and rely and depend upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order, if they wish to receive that shafa'ah. And also they should seek to be from those people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has permitted shafa'ah to be made on their behalf, and that is the people who adhere to Tawhid, those who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone without any partners.